If you have one of the first couple picks in your fantasy draft and you want to take a running back like Jahmyr Gibbs, Bijan Robinson, or Saquon Barkley, you need to employ the zero wide receiver strategy. The strategy is exactly as it sounds. You wait a few rounds to take your first wide receiver simply because the running backs after round 4 are brutal. You prioritize getting your elite running back 1 in the first couple picks. At the turn, you get another elite running back 1 in a guy like Chase Brown, Jonathan Taylor, even Devon Achane I've seen fall in drafts. And after that, the freedom is yours to take a quarterback, a tight end, maybe both, before you take your first wide receiver. It takes a very specific strategy based on the players who are on the board to execute it well. So let me show you how to do it. We are going to be doing this mock draft at the second overall pick. As you can see, Ja'Marr Chase fell past the first overall pick. Disclaimer, if this happens in your league and Ja'Marr Chase is on the board, you take Ja'Marr Chase. I have a completely different video in the description outlining how to go about that. Again, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of that stuff. But if Ja'Marr Chase falls past pick 1, you take him. To me, he's the number 1 overall fantasy prospect. You just have to have a different strategy drafting him. For all intents and purposes, with this video, we are going to be taking a running back with the second overall pick. The best one on the board is Saquon Barkley. Now, transparently, if Bijan and Saquon were both on the board here at the 1-2, I would be taking Bijan. But we take Saquon Barkley and we employ the zero wide receiver draft strategy. Yes, before you take a wide receiver in your draft, I want your team to have 2 running backs and either a quarterback, tight end, or both. The reasoning for this, the running backs past round 4 are brutal. They're really, really difficult to predict outside of guys like rookies, Travion Henderson, RJ Harvey. And the wide receivers past those guys are wide receiver 1s in their offense with high upside. You're taking 3 to 4 swings at high upside wide receivers in later rounds without having to worry about a quarterback, a tight end, and both of your starting running backs. Now, looking at the guys who are on the board right now, as you can see, Lamar Jackson goes off the board. We are prioritizing a running back 2, a quarterback, and a tight end. Looking at the quarterbacks who are available, Josh Allen is still on the board. And I love taking Josh Allen early because you zig when everybody else is zagging. The only issue is the tight end position is very hard to predict. In the mock drafts that I've been doing, I am not a huge Sam Laporta guy in terms of fantasy value. I like George Kittle a lot, but he has not always been there for us in round 4. If that happens, again, I said quarterback and or tight end, you lean into receivers earlier. But where we are right now, Josh Allen is almost too good to pass up. I love the elite quarterback upside. Pairing him with Saquon Barkley in your offense is going to give you 45 plus points every single week with the ability to take another really good running back like Jonathan Taylor, Kyren Williams, or Chase Brown, who by default, one of them will be there for us at 26 because it's our pick, 2 other picks, and then our pick again. We're taking Josh Allen. Only 2 of these 3 running backs could go before our next pick. I'm going to do that. Josh Allen. And none of those running backs go before our next pick. So we can have Jonathan Taylor in an offense with Saquon Barkley and Josh Allen. Guys, I'm telling you, this is the best way to go about this draft. We'll take Jonathan Taylor. Once we get into the 3rd and the 4th rounds, or 4th and 5th, it does get a little trickier. But like I said, in a bunch of drafts that I've been doing, Sam Laporta falls. I'm not a huge Sam Laporta guy. If you are, this is the perfect place to take him. He will be there for you end of 4, beginning of 5 every single time. Now, for me, because I'm not a huge Sam Laporta guy, I can more confidently lean into the wide receivers that are available. Look at the running backs who are on the board right now, guys. After that huge run on backs earlier on in the draft, James Cook, Omarion Hampton, Alvin Kamara, Kenneth Walker, Chuba Hubbard, those are the guys that are the bookend of round 4 that lead to that drop-off. I like James Conner, but people are going to take his reps this year. Again, rookies like RJ Harvey and Travion Henderson are good, and we could honestly take one with our flex. However, I'm looking at a guy like DK Metcalf, Aaron Rodgers, number 1 wide receiver. I will take every single time for my team. He's going to be our wide receiver 1. He's going to get close to double-digit targets every single game, and you can see the write-up here, relatively low, knock on wood. Injury risk, easy full season schedule, peak age range for wide receiver, all of this good stuff. That is our wide receiver 1, adding to 2 really good running backs already and a quarterback. Now, here's where you have to get creative. You're not going to be picking for another 24 picks. Again, if you like Sam Laporta, this is the perfect spot for him. How confident am I in Sam Laporta over a guy like Evan Engram or David Njoku, who will be there for me in 2 rounds, compared to a receiver like a George Pickens, Devontae Smith, a Cortland Sutton, who probably won't be there for me in 2 rounds, but I'm going to need them. I would rather take a chance on a higher upside guy, a wide receiver one in an offense like Cortland Sutton, than I would with Sam Laporta versus David Njoku. I would much prefer an elite receiver, flex type player between those two positions. But here's the interesting thing. Because you are picking here at the end of 5, outside of that running back dead zone, you're in a prime spot to reach for a rookie. And I love TreVeyon Henderson. So if you're like me and you like to take chances at wide receiver a little bit later on, TreVeyon Henderson is an excellent, excellent flex pick. He is a PPR machine. I don't want to compare him to Jahmyr Gibbs, but I think the role will be very similar. He's going to catch a lot of passes. So you take him as your flex. And now rounds 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, you're taking high upside players. I love Calvin Ridley. I can't tell you how much I love Calvin Ridley. David Njoku, very, very likely, 99% chance, going to be there for us at our next pick. We'll take Calvin Ridley as our wide receiver too. David Njoku, who's on the board for us, very likely going to be gone before we take our next pick. We can take with a high upside guy, a guy who averaged almost 100 yards a game with Joe Flacco at quarterback. We take him, and this is what our starting roster looks like, guys. An elite quarterback 1, an elite running back 1, another running back 1, lower tier running back 1 in Jonathan Taylor. A guy in DK Metcalf who's the wide receiver 1 in his offense. Going to get plenty of targets, no competition. Same with Calvin Ridley. The game script is going to be there. David Njoku, very, very favorable quarterback situation for the first half of the year. And TreVeyon Henderson, who's electric, an incredible player, and is going to get plenty of opportunities in his offense. Now we have so much freedom to do whatever we want. Look at this, guys. We can reach for whoever. Stephon Diggs, a player who I absolutely love. Again, wide receiver 1 in his offense, high upside, minimal competition around him. You are stacking him with TreVeyon Henderson if you're drafting TreVeyon Henderson. But to me, a true pass catcher, I'm taking him every single time, especially when you need some more wide receiver depth. Guys who are available for us right now, if you want to take a chance on a tight end, you can with Colston Loveland if you're not feeling comfortable with David Njoku. If you want to take a chance on a higher upside wide receiver, there are plenty of guys like Ricky Pearsall, a guy like Emeka Egbuka for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who very likely will be gone before our next pick. You can take your chance there. For us, we don't really need running backs. However, we will prioritize the handcuffs later on in the draft. Important to know that if you're drafting an elite running back, you want to prioritize the handcuffs. However, you can now look at flex, tight end. We don't need a backup quarterback, at least right now, because we have Josh Allen. Drake May is a guy I'm going to target later. But you can take the best available player right now. I honestly think it's either Juwan Jennings or Emeka Egbuka. To me, Emeka Egbuka has a little more upside, so I'm going to take him. And wide receivers are very important to us right now. You can take these guys and not have to worry about reaching, not have to worry about your backup tight end or backup quarterback. It is an awesome spot to reach on the guys that you want. And ultimately, when you get into fantasy football, guys, you can watch all of my videos, all the videos you want, take all the advice you want. You still want to personalize it to you. This gives you the ultimate freedom in the last 7 rounds of your draft to just take the guys that you like, to take your guys. And I absolutely love it. I can't get enough of the ability to do that. Again, tight ends, higher upside guys. Sure, if you want to take Kyle Pitts, be my guest, have some fun. To me, Jake Ferguson, the pass-heavy offense, is a great option. I'm going to prioritize backup tight end because I waited a little bit to take a David Njoku, especially looking at the guys who are available now. So I will take Jake Ferguson a little bit later on. But backup quarterbacks, not important. Again, running backs, you really don't have to worry about it right now. A guy like Jaden Blue, who is an extremely high upside guy, I'm going to put him in my queue for right now, is going to be an asset for your team. And then you can look at other wide receivers who are available. Ultimately, for us, we want to take the best available player right now. I'm going to prioritize Jake Ferguson just because I need to make sure my backup tight end position is at least solid. And then you can look at running backs like Jaden Blue, probably going to be gone before we pick next. So I'll take Jaden Blue here and get a high-end upside running back where we already have 4 really good receivers on our roster and don't have to worry about it. Also, for all intents and purposes, this draft, no kickers being drafted on our team. You wait till the 16th round to get your kicker every single time. And again, guys, like Drake May, backup quarterback with a ton of upside. You're taking your chance. This is my guy. I love him. You take Drake May. Now we need really just backup flexes in a defense at the end. There are plenty of players who are going to be available with, again, high upside. A guy like Trey Benson, who I literally just talked about his counterpart, James Conner, potentially taking less snaps. High upside running back, handcuff running back. You take him. You take your chance. You take your guy. And looking at our roster right now, guys, we are in such a great spot with a good backup quarterback, a good backup tight end, wide receiver depth, running back depth. We are in an awesome spot where all we have to do right now is take our defense. And the beautiful thing is when you are at the end of, or at the bookends of a round, so first, second, third pick, or 10th, 11th, 12th pick, you often get the pick of the litter when it comes to defenses if everybody waits. So we can take the Broncos defense, the Raiders defense, the Ravens defense, the best defenses in the entire league, guys. That's the reality. I'm going to wait to take a defense right now and take the best player on the board. There's plenty of higher upside guys across the draft here. But again, you can take deep sleepers. A guy like Rico Dowdle. I love Rico Dowdle. I've talked about him a bunch as an elite handcuff to Chuba Hubbard. You can wait, again, to take a really good defense in Denver. This team, guys, I'm telling you, is very, very good. Very, very good. And you can wait to take your kicker till the end of the draft. And this is an extremely, extremely balanced team with a quarterback one, a running back one, another high-end running back one behind him, super high upside guys, and good wide receivers. Calvin Ridley, DK Metcalf, Stephon Diggs, who don't have a ton of competition in their offense. Looking back on this, could have taken another wide receiver, absolutely. But ultimately, we have depth, we have upside, and I love this draft from the number 2 overall pick. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you execute a perfect draft from the 2nd overall pick. The same philosophy can be put into the 3rd, the 4th, even the 5th overall pick if you want to take a guy like Bijan Robinson, Saquon Barkley, and Jahmyr Gibbs at the beginning of your drafts. If you enjoyed this video, please do leave a like and please subscribe if you're not part of the family already. I'll have fantasy football content coming out every single day for the 2025-2026 NFL season. I don't want you to miss it. See you guys next time. God bless.